Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. Today, we got some crazy stuff to cover. We're going to be talking about Ripple XRP is extremely sustainable on Earth Day. We're going to be talking about how much money you'd need to become a Bitcoin whale, some new stellar progress, which is actually pretty crazy, and a little bit of righting my wrongs. So before we get into any of that, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to show your support for the channel. And also make sure you check out my Twitter, as I've been just bombarding you guys with tweets here, opinions, facts, a lot of other things, and I recommend you guys to check it out. And also just send me a DM or at me on Twitter if you want to send me some, or you want to see something else pop up in these videos. I try my best to give you guys as much info as I can, and it would really help if you guys could also send me some info that I can cover in these videos. I will always give you guys a shout out if you do provide, so please do that. First of all, Ripple explains why XRP is more sustainable than Bitcoin and Ethereum in celebration of Earth Day. So yes, this comes as no surprise, as 50 years of Earth Day was posted by Ripple on their official Insights page, and it reads, "A look at the sustainability of a currency." At this year marks the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. It's still a perfect time to take stock of just how sustainable everyday practices and items in our lives truly are. While not as dire as melting polar ice caps or fracking, the production and use of currency does carry with it some surprising environmental ramifications. From paper to plastic to crypto, let's take a brief look at the sustainability of currency and its impact on our planet. So it's actually a really interesting look, as these are most likely numbers that you've never taken a look at, and which might shock you as well. I mean, I was pretty shocked when I read into this, as I never would have thought this would be how it was. If you want the abbreviated version, I would recommend to just quickly check through this article by Alex Dovnia, but I want to go for the elaborate, good explanation, and just want to build it up from first, how sustainable is paper money? The old adage is that money doesn't grow on trees, but paper banknotes are most certainly a byproduct to them. According to the World Wildlife Fund, mills across the world produce 400 million tons of paper each year, and some of this paper is used in the printing of banknotes, which contributes to global deforestation. It is estimated that deforestation is responsible for about 12% of all greenhouse gas emissions. Again, that's for some people a big concern. Some people don't care about that at all, but that's the statistics that is given here. And the printing of paper money carries a rather sizable environmental impact, but it doesn't stop at the printing press. Greenbacks aren't particularly durable, weathering damage easily, which mandates them being taken out of the circulation. In fact, it is estimated that the average lifespan of a $5 bill is only 16 months, which, if you've ever handled money, which like 99.9% of you guys have, is not that crazy. I don't know exactly what the velocity of money is, but if you think about it, even if every bill out there were to be used, 4 times, there's 4 times the chance again to really get damaged. And, even if somebody has it, even if the velocity is 4, that would mean 4 different people were to have it. It would also mean that it would have to be stored for a very long time each time. And there's, again, another ton of chances for it to get, distorted or messed up. And I definitely believe that the average lifespan is a $5 bill is like 16 months. It's like 1.5 year-ish. And if the $5 bill were to go around, let's say 40 times, yeah, there's a good chance one guy just messed it up when taking it out of his pocket or something like that. And from that point on, it's only a downward slope and hill. Many countries have transitioned to producing their banknotes with a combination of recycled, low-quality waste fibers, cotton, linen, and paper, and this reduces the harvesting of raw materials required to make paper money, and paper itself is an easily replaceable substance. You also need to factor in that using paper money results in another environmentally problematic byproduct, which are, of course, coins. And the extraction, mining, milling, and smelting of metal to produce coins is incredibly energy intensive, and the US Mint estimates that some 40,000 tons of metal are used to make coins in each country every year. I guess in just the American country. Actually, it's not each country. I don't think every country has the same production. Whether paper or metal, it's clear that the use of physical currency is taxing on the environment and results in unsustainable practices and consequences. Now moving over into debit and credit cards though, because in theory they sound a lot more sustainable, but from another perspective, everybody needs a bank card and those are not paper, but most of the time they're plastic, or at least some sort of plastic. Actually, they're called polyvinyl chloride, but alright. If paper money is that environmentally troublesome, you're probably thinking that debit card and credit cards are even worse. After all, they're made with plastic and there's a societal and environmental push to transition away from plastic and replace it with paper counterparts. Looking at you, straws. Well, yeah, I personally don't like the straw change, as every time I'm drinking out of a straw now, give me 5 minutes and that straw is all the way watery and I have to throw it away. Or there's just going to be a couple of holes inside, which is not really the purpose of a straw. There's 6 holes when there's supposed to be 2, but that's just my 2 cents on that. But in actuality, debit and credit cards have their pros and cons as alternative payment options that don't necessarily make them any better or worse than paper money, sustainably speaking. Most credit and debit cards are made using polyvinyl chloride, which, like many plastics, is produced with large amounts of oil and isn't exactly replaceable. To manufacture one credit card, it takes around 4.25 grams of petroleum, and with current estimates of 2.8 billion credit cards in use globally, that equates to roughly 79,000 barrels of oil to produce credit cards each year. This figure doesn't even include the production of similar plastic-based currency like gift and discount cards and like Apple cards and the PlayStation cards and whatnot. However, unlike paper money, plastic cards have longer shelf life and they can last for up to 8 years, depending on the expiration date of their usage. And on top of that, the harvesting and cultivation of a kilogram of cotton used in the production of paper money requires just as much energy as it would take to produce an equal amount of PVC. Now, I'm gonna adjust my seating for the important question. How sustainable is crypto? Will the growth of crypto improve the sustainability of crypto production and use? Well, that depends on what kind of crypto you're talking about. The production and use of crypto like Bitcoin and Ether require a process called crypto mining, where transactions for these cryptos are verified and added into the blockchain digital ledger, and it represents a crucial component of the development and maintenance of these cryptos, but also requires a large amount of electricity and energy to do so. A study conducted by Stanford and the University of Stockholm on the carbon footprint of crypto and Visa found that Bitcoin and Ethereum were 2 of the most eco-unfriendly currencies available in terms of annual electricity consumption. In fact, the same amount of electricity it would take to execute 220 million Bitcoin transactions a year, its hypothetical maximum per year, could also power 149 million light bulbs. So again, that's the maximum. In theory, it's not what happens, but alright. XRP is an example of a crypto that isn't dependent on this massive amount of energy, easily claiming the title of one of the most sustainable forms of currency available. The sustainability of XRP. Unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum, XRP is not a mined digital asset. Every unit of the currency that exists now has already been created because Bitcoin is mined. That means new Bitcoins are constantly being created by huge data processing centers, and as noted, this demands large unsustainable amounts of electricity. The cost of producing one coin could power almost 4 US homes for a day. And by the way, guys, I'm trying to see what you guys are actually liking in terms of the zooming in. I don't know how much of it should be zooming in. Like, should I go for this, or really, walk with it as we read through it? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comment section what you like. A couple of you guys asked me to zoom in more, and I'm trying to at least get this amount of view, but let me know if you have any opinion on that. And just to really quickly go back, as noted, this demands large, unsustainable amounts of electricity, the cost of producing one coin could power almost 4 US homes for a day. In contrast, though, XRP is an incredibly efficient and sustainable form of a currency. To bring it into perspective, using the previous light bulb example, the energy consumed by XRP's distributed ledger would power a mere 7 light bulbs, and that's much lower carbon footprint than other currency options available, crypto or otherwise. Traditional currency continues to play a vital role in many economies around the world, though the environmental impact of these currencies is hard to ignore. Learn more about XRP here, which is a link to XRP on the Ripple website, but I'm quite amazed with the info they've given us here, as it just now made me realize again how crazy it is that people would prefer Bitcoin over XRP or Ethereum over XRP in terms of transactions and in terms of real usage, right? Ethereum as a platform still taking the cake. Bitcoin as a, proof or no, as a storage unit still takes the cake. But for transactions, if you're still using Bitcoin, I think there's something wrong because it's not really nice in any shape, way, or form. Then, this is how much Bitcoin you need to be considered a whale by the Blockstream CEO. You are allowed to call yourself a Bitcoin whale if you own at least 100 Bitcoins, according to the Blockstream CEO, Adam Back. So, scratching my head here. Guess we're not a Bitcoin whale in that case, are we? Well, according to Blockstream CEO Adam Back, owning 100 Bitcoin might be enough to make you a Bitcoin whale. The Bitcoin pioneer, who was cited in Satoshi's white paper, claims that this would be a staggering amount of value at $10,000 per one coin. Well, yeah, definitely so. That's $1 million right there. That's a lot of money. Danny Scott asked, would you class 100 plus Bitcoins as a Bitcoin whale? There are currently 16,000 addresses holding 100 plus Bitcoins. Adam Back replied and said, while Bitcoin price is above 10K, then 100 Bitcoin would qualify someone as a HNWI with over $1 million in liquid assets. So I would say yes, Bitcoin whale. Globally, less than 1% have with wealth bigger than 1 million. So 100 BTC is a staggering amount of value to most people. In many, many, many locations, you could retire. Which is another valid point I just want to make. A lot of you guys said in my comment section, Dusty, you're wrong. You can't retire with $1 million. Well, yes, you can, right? Every country has different rules. Every country has different costs, but in most countries around the world, you will be able to retire with $1 million. This is not some 12-year-old opinion. This is literally, I guess, the theory behind it. I think every economist knows that it's definitely possible. I think the biggest change between Europe and the US is that medical bills in the US are way higher. In Europe here, you don't have to worry about that at all. In the US, you do. And also, with $1 million, some will say inflation is going to kill it, all your money, but no. If you have $1 million, you're estimated to get a return of like 7% or so on that money, for which 2% will be inflation, 1% will be most of the time like taxes / growth if you have anything left, and then 4% of that is what you take out of that money to retire, which will mean your money will always stay growing. Then briefly, righting my wrong, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. Yesterday or so, I said they talked about XRP in their live stream, and then I got a lot of tweets and a lot of messages in my YouTube comment section saying that is not true, saying that they did not actually talk about XRP. Ashton Kutcher is just an XRP / Ripple advocate, but he did not mention it in the live stream, and that was most likely a lie. Just want to quickly say that for all the people that, worried about it or thought about it. And last but not least, a lot of requests also I've gotten for Stellar, and I thought I should try to include it every so often in my videos whenever I can. One of the coolest things that happened to them is this Stellar-based Akon, which is of course from Akon, the singer, to be integrated in Canyon Tech City. The Stellar blockchain-based Akon will be used in Mwale Medical and Technology City, MMTC, in Kenya, and the cryptocurrency of the rapper Akon, which is still in the beta phase, will thus have its first major use case in Africa. Pretty amazing to see that happening, guys. Grammy winner and rapper Akon has received another success for his crypto Akon. According to the press release shared with Crypto News Flash, the Akon will be used at Mwale Medical and Technology City in Kenya. The $2 billion technology city in Western Kenya was built around the 5,000-bed Hamptons Hospital and is home to over 35,000 people. The MMTC will be the first major application for the Akon, which Akon says will power the entire African continent soon afterwards. Well, I'm pretty excited to see what that's going to be bringing. Akon is putting in a lot of effort and is really relying heavily on Stellar here doing their job. But I have all the positive vibes that I could give. I want to give to them, and I really think highly of his plans. And I hope to God that he's gonna, get everything fixed over there, because that would just, wow, that would change so many people's lives, which will be amazing. But it's something to see for the future. He's taking his progress very slowly. But thank you guys all for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you press the like button. If you didn't, make sure you still press the like button. And make sure you sub to the channel. And check out my second channel as well, Dusty Finance. See you guys again in another crypto video.